40.
40.
40.
40?
40.
40.
Wow, 40. 40. 40.
Haha, you're 40.
What redeemed him was his luminescent brilliance, and this fantastic intelligence and acuity and insight. He was incomparably smart. It's embarrassing. Well, I'm sorry. I've confused Frank with another executive. Sheena tells me he's not the smart one.
I met Frank in high school at a tanning competition at a beach. That's how we first ran into each other. Well, it was weird. Frank won. I thought I had him, but I don't know those of you who've seen Frank with his shirt off. He was definitely the tannest person there.
He's the greatest, most fantastic, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious daddy in the whole wide world.
Listen, I'm really sorry. It's just skipped right out of my mind. I'm really having trouble getting into recalling Frank.
The most amazing thing about Frank, little known fact, that he actually went from being a walk-on as a Cal tailback and led the team in scoring. I remember going to the Stanford game, and John Lynch said it was the hardest hit he'd ever given was to Frank as the power fullback. Now, Frank, of course, wasn't the speediest fellow on the team, but he was the most determined and just plowed ahead for so many yards that he ended up shocking the nation and winning the Heisman Trophy, an incredible feat.
I love my daddy more than anything in the whole wide world.
One small known fact, and I find it actually incredible, Frankie had actually won the Kentucky Derby. I mean, one of the most coveted things that you could ever do in sports.
Even before I met Frank, his reputation preceded him. He's a legend in the rescue community. I think a little known fact about Frank that a lot of people don't really understand is he's such a great skydiver. Load him down with hundreds of pounds of equipment. He's rock steady in the air. He always pulls at altitude. He's a leader up there. Probably one of the best I've ever seen.
Today I'll never forget, I was in Lansdowne Road in Dublin. Ireland were playing Wales. All of a sudden the ball went deep into the Welsh half, and this full back who looked vaguely familiar just kind of got the ball and started to move. And the word gazelle just started to go throughout the stadium. And I recognised Frank. He was playing for Wales. In fact, we all know him as Frankie Williams. Then he was known as Frankie J.J. Williams. And Frank, in all his modesty, had never even mentioned that he was a Welsh national rugby player.
What's amazing about his synchronized swimming passion is that he took it further than any of us ever would have thought. He made it to Olympic trials, and not only that, he made it to gold. Gold!
I remember the name. It's just not ringing a bell for me. You've been out talking with other people. Have other people been able to remember him?
Daddy!
The most surprising thing about Frank is, he's this corporate mucky muck now, but back in the day when he was pitching for the Giants and in the '87 World Series, I mean, the guy was unbelievable. He could throw smoke back in the day. I mean, he's kind of a junk ball pitcher now, but back in the day, he was pretty strong.
Oh my God, I'm so proud of Frank. I can't believe he's 40. It just seemed like yesterday that he was 35 and winning the Nobel Prize.
One of the things that people don't know about Frank is that he actually won the 2002 ESPN Outdoor Games, the fly fishing competition, when it was in Reno, which is pretty surprising.
I don't know how this works for you, but could I just talk about Richard Schwartz or Scott Fosbacker, one of the really memorable figures at the advisory board?
Maybe some people have not seen Frank's jump shot. It pains me to say it, but I have to give him his props. He's a pretty good basketball player.
Yeah, the thing that may surprise most people about Frank is that he is actually a fantastic basketball player. And he took Dominique Wilkins downtown. And for years, it's been eating away at him and bothering him. And Frank told me that he actually ran into Dominique when he was sitting at courtside at a game, recognized him and said, "You're the guy, you're the guy. I've been thinking about that game for years," and wanted to get back at him.
I did catch a game where he played against Dominique Wilkins of the Atlanta Hawks. And there was one great moment in the game where Dominique and Frankie had a stare-off. And Frank gave him that look in the eye, and then he took it to him and brought it to the hoop and slammed it down right over his head. It was one of the best dunks I've ever seen.
Lo and behold, Frank took Dominique to the bucket and evidently slammed the ball right in Dominique's face.
So I met Frankie, and he was underneath the table, and I said, "Frankie Williams, you were meant for greatness. Get out from underneath that table and take yourself to America." So after a couple years, we all chipped in, and they said, "Kelly, you got to go see him." I heard he got himself a lady. It was crazy. She went to Harvard too. So I went over, and there in a giant house was Frankie Williams with a real live wife. And I said to him, "Frankie, you've done so well for yourself. I hope you didn't marry one of those girls who just wants to lie on her back and have baby after baby after baby." But sure enough, there they came, one after another. 2 babies, 3 babies, 4 babies, Frankie. What have you done? And that's the story of how I met Frankie Williams.
My favorite thing about Frank is the guy is a total American Idol wannabe, and he has been ever since I met him.
That's life, that's life, that's what all the people say.
We were at an after-hours party at the big German trade show for engineering electrical equipment in Hanover. The band had been playing to probably about 400 or 500 people, and Frank slipped onto the stage as the band was leaving. He took up the microphone, and to my horror, he began to sing "That's Life" from Frank Sinatra at the top of his lungs. And you had 300-400 Swiss and German engineers, predominantly male, all gathering around, just clapping their hands as Frank is banging out Frank Sinatra.
That's life and I can't deny it. Many times I thought of quitting, baby, but my heart just ain't gonna buy it. And if nothing comes my way this here July, I'm gonna roll myself up in a big ball, and my